Bringing in the stick. Well, now it's time to put something on your back. Because obviously, when we're going to have a squat in a routine, most people are going to have something on their back. Usually it's a bar. Now a bar can weigh up to normally 20 kilos. There are some lighter ones, but often you'll find yourself having to work with 20 kilo bars. Now, how would you make that more comfortable? Danny, what would you start with instead?
Yeah, something light, just so you can actually get used to having your arms up, because what we've been practicing, my arms were actually in front of me for the movements. So let's start by getting you used to having your arms here and creating some nice padding. A lot of people find that holding a bar on their back actually hurts, but that's because either it's on the bones of your shoulder blades or they're just not squeezing the shoulders back, because that makes padding with our muscles. There's no need to actually put the pad on the bar, which is what you might have tried before.
That's a really good idea, Danny. So we're starting with a stick. The reason for this is it gets you comfortable for holding something behind your back. This is what this is about. Remember, we want to become comfortable with what we're doing. So we must start with something that's not overly challenging, but gives us the feeling of what we're going to be doing. So we usually use a dowel or something we might have even bought from Bunnings or some hardware store that may be approximately similar to the length of a bar that we might be using. It's comfortable, it's light, and it will help you find a position that you're comfortable with. So we need to practice. So what, Danny? You got a nice feeling there? How do you find that position for yourself?
This feels good for me, but again, everyone's different. So your arms might need to be a little bit wider or closer. It depends on your mobility and your anatomy as well. So be mindful of that.
Yes, a lot of the fellows and guys I'd be working with, their shoulder mobility is not all that good, so they will have to reach out further on the bar. So what we'd like to do is get into a nice position where we can bring our hands in, but it's got to be comfortable. So why are we starting in this position, Danny? We're on the chair.
It feels a little bit more stable and comfortable. I feel really balanced, and it's just about building the confidence as well. So starting on the chair is ideal.
So rather than starting, which we do in the exercise of the squat, on 2 feet and then putting a bar on our back and having to start the squat, we want you to practice starting from the chair, then standing up. Danny, let's give him a demonstration. What do we do? What's our cues?
Let's remember those 5 cues now. So looking forward, shoulder blades down and back, squeeze nice and tight into that bar. I'm going to brace and stand up.
And on the way down?
The hips come back and the knees come out.
Good. Now,
Forward,
watching you,
blades.
I can see a really nice lean forward. People have got to be confident. This is normal.
Sure is.
Isn't it? Your hips are going back, you're leaning forward into the movement, you're pushing your knees out, your cueing's great, lovely and tight. But what we can see is you have to lean forward. You cannot stay upright in that way.
No, it feels really compressed in the lower back if we try to stay upright. So a lean forward's okay.
And by looking forward with your head, you're keeping your spine on. That looks good. We're working the hinge. So this is a really important thing, is to become comfortable. The toes are pointing out along the line of the thigh, and Danny's sitting back into the chair, and that changes as obviously for everybody. Short thigh, long torso will be quite upright. A long thigh and a short torso will be leaning forward more. One of the other things is Danny's knees are coming forward slightly. That's allowed, that's acceptable. That helps you find your normal base. So allow your knees to come forward comfortably. Looks good, Danny. How's it feel?
Feels really good. Keep it simple and just keep practicing.
Perfect. So now we've introduced stick practice.